What's up, guys? Blade Master here. Going to be bringing you actually, the second game of the quarterfinals between AK the Legend and Emerging Yeti. Or is this round three? I think this is round three. This is going to be fought in Tennis, and we know that AK won the first game with Iceni, so it looks like he's going for his barbarian strategy yet again with Nervii. One sec. Oh man, I hate that feeling when you have to sneeze, but it just it don't come in, man. I really feel like sneezing, but I can't. Anyways, Emerging Yeti has picked RDI, so we can see one. AK the Legend has picked two decently powerful barbarian factions. For his round three games, doesn't want to leave anything to chance, I guess. And even though he won fairly comfortably in the first game, he doesn't want to take any chances and just finish off the best of three. With a powerful enough faction that will get him a win. Emerging Yeti on his part has definitely brought a powerful faction in the RDI. With max 4 of the same rules, they are very good with 4 Illyrian Noble Hoplites, 4 regular Illyrian Hoplites, which looks like it is Emerging Yeti's main line. I don't understand the Slave Slingers. I would honestly have liked to see some Slave Javelin Men maybe, or maybe not Peltis. I don't know, maybe I don't know. The slave slingers are good against enemy skirmishes, but the Nervii don't really have many skirmishes to threaten RDI, and they wouldn't bring many. Uh, they would bring the mercenary Germanic scout riders, which the slingers could be pretty useful in killing off. We also see some Illyrian Thurios spears because this is a smart pick. I like it, and two mercenary Tarantine cavalry, and relatively few low tier melee infantry, which is a questionable choice from Emerging Yeti. There are only three mercenary axe warriors. Granted, they're good, but I would like to have seen some more warriors, some more melee infantry brought. I can see that he's probably nearing the 12 melee slash spear infantry mark, so that's why I wouldn't have. I would have like to see him remove some of these Thuria spears and bring some more mercenary axe warriors or Celtic warriors instead. For Nervii and AK the Legend. Ooh, we see a guerrilla swordsman all the way back there. I didn't know that they can stay hidden while they move through like this. That means they're stock. That they have stock or something like that. And I guess that only activates a certain distance away from the enemy. He is moving them super far away, making sure that they stay hidden. And like if that means them running through the entire map like this, then so be it. It's going to be 17 minutes, so most likely they'll be able to move around and finally catch up to the battle. It looks like most of the battle is going to be fought in the plains surrounding the woods, or no, in the plains surrounded by the woods. God damn English! But the Illyrian Noble Hoplites will have a good time here against most infantry, but against the fierce swords of the Nervii. Oh man, these planes are really going to favor the extremely high charge that the fierce swords can bring, as well as of course the oath sword. So let's take a deeper look at what AK has brought with Nervii. We can see three Celtic slingers. We can see a total of four Levi freemen, some Celtic warriors, one Celtic warrior, and three fierce swords, total of three oath sword actually, and only three mighty horse. Never mind, three mighty horse and a couple of Germanic scout riders. Going pretty low, relatively low on the cavalry front, because he knows that you're going to fight up against minimum 8 spears. In this case, 8 plus 3 spears, 3 of which have cavalry counter tactics, so they're very deadly. So yeah, no need to really bring. It's not like cavalry will really do too much. Of course, you'd want to bring some just for maneuverability, getting frontal charges and stuff. But for the most part, like you'd want to leave the heavy lifting to your fierce swords and your oath sword, because they will obviously outshine the Illyrian Noble Hoplites, the best melee infantry or best infantry unit that the RDA can bring in a one-on-one situation. So let's just fast forward. It looks like these two are just sizing each other up. The guerrilla ambushers, or guerrilla, what are they called? Guerrilla swordsmen with a single XP chevron, seems to be one of these luxury picks by AK. Smart. I like it in this map. It's the woods offer him this advantage of bringing a guerrilla unit. He's keeping them behind. They do fire a bunch of javelins, so they could be very useful in that regard. The three Celtic slingers fired off a volley against the Illyrian Thuria spears, and it's cool to see like even a competitive player like AK the Legend bringing one of these luxury units in the guerrilla swordsman. They could prove to be a very useful unit considering the terrain. Where he's kept them right now, they could just have like a completely hidden way all the way in the center, and they could be pretty useful if they're used that way. And it's the reason why I say it's nice to see that is because usually tournament and like really high quality players, and everyone's talking about AK the Legend being like one of the best in, or if not the best in Rome 2 right now, and it's kind of cool to see that AK is like considered like that because he's been watching the channel for a long time, and he's been one of the earliest subscribers to the channel, I would suspect. And I don't recall him playing tournaments right from the very beginning, or at least he wasn't playing at such a high level. So it's kind of like I'm the father watching his Canadian son grow to be a decent player. I'm proud of you. Anyways, we can see Mighty Horse and a lot of segregated flanks here that are mostly self-sufficient. And weakish center, but one that has a lot more maneuverability with like. Actually, no, it doesn't have. It's a strongish center. It looks like he's just pushing away his. AK is pushing away his left flank and then just collapsing onto EmergingYeti's left flank and trying to overpower that way. Let's see if if EmergingYeti responds in any way. It doesn't really look like he's moving around his units as to counter AK's movements, his strategic movements, tactical movements. But let's just go ahead and fast forward. It looks like Tarantine Cav took some unnecessary damage from the Celtic Slingers. And you know what, let's just put this on play. They are focusing fire on the Illyrian Thuria Spears, not really doing much damage, of course. The Thuria Spears, decent enough armor, and 40% is the block chance against shitty slingers like that, they'll obviously be okay. Now, Mighty Horse making it into the right hand side forests. I can see why he's trying to do that because he wants to surround the Illyrian army, but these Thuria Spears are going to be quite a handful, and he needs to find a way to deal with them. Maybe bring you can see the Guerrilla Swordsman here might actually be very useful in just clearing out this Illyrian Thuria Spear in a surprise kind of attack. They're still hidden. I don't know if maybe EmergingYeti saw them earlier, but they're hidden for now. And now, while the Thuria Spears are reforming, AK the Legend chooses to make his move with the Mighty Horse. Smart move, because that means the Illyrian Thuria Spears lose a lot of men because their biggest disadvantage is their low mass. And the Mighty Horse, even though they're medium and not heavy melee cavalry, they still get a lot of kills. They lose 1 unit in the process, or 3 units actually in the process. But yeah, the Oathsworn got 9 kills on the Thuria Spears. Once he clears off this Thuria Spears, that's actually even once he lets cavalry counter tactics wear out, he should be okay. He should be able to plow through the right flank of EmergingYeti, and then that'll be that'll be the start of his. That'll be an extremely favorable start for him. So now it looks like EmergingYeti is also responding to this, pushing in an Illyrian Hoplite and an Illyrian Noble Hoplite onto the right flank. The Oathsworn General is being used so ballsily. I don't really understand why. But anyway, he's pushing them back now. The Tarantine Cav didn't really fire any volleys, so I guess it was okay for him to do that. EmergingYeti, very classic mistake of not responding to your opponent's early game decisions. It might seem trivial, and that's where you get sucked in, and that's where you lose the game from the start. Let's see if that actually does happen here. If the Illyrian Hoplite is braced for this charge, it actually might be decent because they do have expert charge defense. So, but usually it's not really the case that expert charge defense really plays much of a role. The Illyrian Hoplites get hammered on the charge. The Noble Hoplites do come into support and they get like 2 or 3 kills, but didn't get a good charge off on the Oathsworn. And honestly, the Illyrian Noble Hoplites are one of those units that you really need to get that charge bonus off, especially against a unit like Oathsworn. But the Oathsworn somehow have been attacked in the rear, so they're only steady now, but they've popped Headhunt immediately. Some of this Celtic Slinger fire is probably going to hurt the Oathsworn more than the Noble Hoplites, because they have such high armor and much better mills of block chance than the Oathsworn, that you're unnecessarily pouring in fire into an engagement that you will already just easily win. So the Mighty Horse here, great charge onto the Mercenary Axe Warriors. They do pull through, but pull through is completely fine. I just changed the rules. It's like, why even have this rule in the first place? I never really liked the rule. Mercenary Axe Warriors do get destroyed by the Guerrilla Swordsman now. They get 20 kills off the charge, and now the Illyrian Hoplites get rear charged by the Mighty Horse, making them rout that much quicker. They routed 60 men, and that means that the right flank of AK the Legend is going to be able to push through the left flank of EmergingYeti that much quicker. Now he's going to try and push fewer and fewer units, it looks like, because he just keeps reforming his lines slower and slower into the forest and trying to engage piecemeal, which honestly doesn't really sound like the smartest strategy in something like an Emerging, but in against a faction like RDI. In a map like this, when your opponent doesn't really respond to your actions of shifting more of your army onto one flank, if that sort of situation happens, then by all means you can go ahead and take piecemeal engagements that you'll win. So Guerrilla Swordsman here already 86 kills, about to get a double XP chevron. They were at a single XP chevron earlier, but they have a very decent charge bonus of 30 for a holy shit, and they get a lot of kills on the Mercenary Axe Warriors, because the Axe Warriors themselves didn't really get a charge bonus on them. The one thing that I think is a mistake is the Celtic Slingers keeping on pouring fire. Sure, it's into the flanks of the Mercenary Axes, but it's also going to be onto the flanks of the Guerrilla Swordsman. But that's one of those minor, kind of things that you'll only notice in replays, and honestly doesn't really play too much of a role in a battle. But if the battle turns into a nail biter, this could be one of those decisions that that completely change the outcome of the match, so to speak. The Levy Freeman charge into the Mercenary Axe Warriors and then pull out way too late, so they lose a lot of men. They do get a precursor volley off, and then the Mighty Horse going to clobber these Axe Warriors. Guerrilla Swordsmen get that double XP chevron. The Noble Hoplites coming in to help here. The Noble Hoplites here took the charge, and they were already weakened by, I think, Celtic Slinger Fire, or maybe some of the this Oathsworn General, which got a lot of kills. I don't know. It probably was the Celtic Slinger Fire, to be quite honest. Actually, no, because then these guys would have gotten a lot more than the low level of XP that they're getting right now. The Oathsworn here still destroying the Noble Hoplites. I would never recommend someone to use expert charge defense on their Noble Hoplites like that, especially against a unit like Oathsworn. You'd only want to do it against maybe Thracian Warriors, Falksmen, Falksmen even, I don't know. Swaby units is basically what ECD is good at. Guerrilla Swordsman here, half strength, double XP chevron, 140 kills. They've really made their presence felt. Mercenary Axe Warrior is losing a lot of men, and the Noble Hoplites also lost 20 men there. And the Guerrilla Swordsmen, honestly, they were used really well, but their optimal usage is when you're able to fire off all your javelin volleys with them, and I don't think AK did that. So even then, they managed to get a lot of kills. Let's see if he pops Frenzy with his Fierce Swords. He doesn't pop Frenzy with his Fierce Swords. Oh, he does now. He does now. Yeah, you really need to use Frenzy with your Fierce Swords. Let's see if this actually does anything. Fierce Swords are one of those units that I think just bracing for the charge would probably... Yeah, there you can see that. The bracing for the charge did net the Illyrian Noble Hoplites a lot of kills. So you can see the Fierce Swords, just because they had that Frenzy ability which increased their charge bonus to 57, a lot of that just bounced back to them. So they did lose a lot of men, and now you can see the unit is losing, but they have gotten a lot of kills on the Illyrian Noble Hoplite General, held them down DJ Khaled style, and the Oathsworn now going to rear charge this Illyrian Noble Hoplite. Mighty Horse here destroying the Slave Slingers. It's just pandemonium on EmergingYeti's left flank. He's pouring in a lot of units from way back there now, whereas all of AK's units are much closer, and that's the early game failure that EmergingYeti had. I think that's probably going to lose in this match. The Oathsworn are still at 84 men. The General is doing okay against Illyrian Hoplites. He's going to find a good time. Good times awaiting. And Fierce Swords now, you can see them in the distance. They're ready to charge, ready to pounce. Let's turn this into Fierce Sword cam. Actually, it doesn't look like they're going to charge. This Fierce Sword lost so many men and only got 40 kills against Illyrian Noble Hoplites. So yes, you can say that expert charge defense against something like Fierce Swords would do well, but not against something like Oathsworn. And even Fierce Swords, only if they pop Frenzy, I would argue, would expert charge defense be a useful ability. So this is a smart move. You can see that initially, I'll just put this in slow motion. You can see initially AK just issued attack orders with both of his units onto this Illyrian Noble Hoplite, but he chose to push the Fierce Swords away, and that's purely because he wants to get the best charge with his Fierce Swords. If you don't get a good charge with your Fierce Swords, they're basically destroyed. And two, it's because he wants to let the Celtic Warriors absorb the expert charge defense of the Illyrian Noble Hoplites. It does look like the Illyrian Noble Hoplites, no, they're braced for the charge from the Celtic Warriors. And then he's going to move away his Fierce Swords, maybe use them to attack this, plug this gap here, or maybe help out the general, or maybe even get a third, there's a third option of getting a clean charge onto the Illyrian Noble Hoplites once they find the right space. Levy Freeman making sure the Illyrian Hoplites stay routed. The Mighty Horse just chasing away the Tarantine Cav, who haven't done too much. The Oathstone now going to just completely fuck up the general, Illyrian Noble Hoplite. And now you can see, yeah, there we go. He's going to choose a different target. The Fierce Swords general has recently died for the Fierce Swords, apparently. I would most likely think that it's for the RDI, and I was just looking at it wrong. And the Fierce Swords is just going to make mincemeat of these mercenary Axe Warriors. They get 48 kills on the charge against Illyrian Hoplites, and Axe Warriors hardly losing a man in the process. Have they lost their general? General has died for the Nervii, but it's the same case for the RDI. And the RDI, of course, unlike most other or all other Hoplite / civilized factions, they do suffer a huge morale penalty when their general dies. They don't have the discipline trait on any of their units. So yeah, that penalty from losing their morale, that morale penalty is going to affect them really, really badly. And in any case, it does look like AK the Legend is going to win this fairly comfortably. Fierce Swords there, I don't even know what they were killing, but they've gotten 161 kills, probably just routing units. And now all that's left are Tarantine Cav and Germanic Scout Rider, and the Germanic Scout Rider is holding one of them down, DJ Khaled style, and the Celtic Warriors. If you don't know what the DJ Khaled memes are all about, these references are so esoteric that, what's the point of even putting them on here? But anyways, Celtic Warriors here, the Illyrian Noble Hoplite is still going to brace for the charge. And did they get a lot of kills off of the charge? Off of their expert charge defense? Not really, because as I said, expert charge defense, do's and don'ts. Don't use it against any infantry other than Fierce Swords and like Thracian Warriors or Swaby. Units that have great charge bonus. There's really no use to using expert charge defense. A little bit of desync here because I'm viewing these replays after a long time, and of course blade balance has been modified a lot since then. But yeah, AK the Legend very clearly, comfortably won this game, and well played to him. He moves on to round 4 of the Big Blade Balance tournament, that much closer to winning that sweet $50 cash prize. And well played to EmergingYeti. Good on him for moving all the way up here. And better luck next time. Hope to see him in future tournaments. I did like his use of his little tinkering there with the bracing with RDI units. It did work in that one situation against this Fierce Sword, which only got 48 kills. But for the most part, it shouldn't just be used. It should, especially with RDI units and Illyrian Noble Hoplites in particular, you want to use that charge bonus of theirs. But honestly, that's not even what lost him the game. I think what lost him the game was the early game strategy of not, countering your opponent's movements. And that's something that AK the Legend did in the previous game. So, yeah, adapting to your opponent's moves is definitely something that EmergingYeti should have done. And that could have given him a much better chance at winning these games. Hope you guys enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.